Good. Fine. So we'll start. We'll have a small prayer and then we'll continue. A very well known prayer, very famous. So if you feel comfortable, you can hold your hands, close your eyes. I will chant it. You may just want to listen or chant along with me. It's Guru Brahma. Take a breath in for the prayer. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. This next stanza is from Yoga Vasishtha. यतः सर्वाणि भूतानि प्रतिभान्ति स्थितानि च यत्र एव उपशमं यान्ति तस्मै श्री परमात्मने नमः तस्मै परमात्मने नमः. All right. Fine. So before we start, a few things, very important things. Typically, these things are taken towards the end of the session, but I would like to have them right in the beginning. The Thanksgiving. Okay, I must express my gratitude to so many things that are making this session, so many people who are making this session happen here. The first gratitude, the first vote of thanks to the community here, to the people who organized, who gave this hall for the session. So I'm very much grateful to them. I'm of course very much thankful, grateful to all of you for coming here. Okay, this is an important evening, and you still spare some time to make it to come here. It's not a gratitude, but I must mention them, my entire family who are here, and because of them, this session could happen. Usually, I organize a session where there is no food, nothing which is organized. Typically, those sessions are free, so we keep it a little lighter. But my brother and his wife Sonal, they mentioned if you have it in the evening, and if people are coming from like 2 hours, having 2 hours of drive or so, then it would be an injustice. It would be a little inappropriate to let them go empty stomach. So they took initiative to do that, and my family got engaged into it. So my brother, his wife Sonal, my wife Sonali, and our daughters and my nephew, daughter Arushi, my daughter Radha, and Soham. So they all put their hands together to make this happen. Okay, and because of that, you will definitely enjoy a very, very delicious and special food tonight. So please give them a big hand. Okay. Apart from that, in this journey of Yoga Vasishtha, it's a tough decision to quit a job when you are at your peak of the career. At the age of 47, when I decided to quit job that was in Cisco, which is like, most of you must be knowing that organization. And my family had a kind of a challenge that my wife usually says it, that while marrying, you promised me that you are an IT engineer, and now you are turning out to be a Baba. So, so what is this? I said, okay, I'll do something for earning, and I'll do that. But then she still supported me. It is very easy for a man to sit here, organize sessions, etc. But with two children managing their education, transport, dropping to the school, etc., all is something that pillar has been handling. So my family is on one single pillar who is running this thing. That is my wife. Uh, it's inappropriate to say I'm grateful to her, but because without her, this wouldn't happen. So thank you, Sonali. Okay, all right. Before we proceed, any questions you have in your mind so that we can address those during the session? Anything you have? Nothing? Okay. Can we reduce the temperature a bit? It is a little hot here. Is that possible? I think right there itself you have the temperature control. All right. So the first thing that we are going to do today, okay, is raise your hand. I'm sure you are not shy of doing that. It's so easy. Turn it around, okay, and pat your own back. Do that. Okay, you will realize at the end of the session that this is really what you are here for. All right. Not everybody reaches to a session on Yoga Vasishtha. There are so many people on the earth, but only a few privileged people are here who can get the knowledge of Yoga Vasishtha. Okay, it's really a privilege. And that is why you should be thanking yourself. Now, the question is, what is Yoga Vasishtha? So it is form of two words, Yoga and Vasishtha. Okay, some people call it as yoga, some people call it yoga. Both of them are correct pronunciations. In South India, typically they stretch the last letter. So, like if somebody's name is Manjunath, that will be called as Manjunatha. Okay, so that is why it becomes yoga as well and yoga also. But the meaning of yoga in Sanskrit is union. Now, what is union of what? Union of two things, two heterogeneous things which are supposed to be different, we bring them together. That is called union. So, which are those two things? So, for us, we are assuming that I am what I am a body, right? That is what our identity is. If I ask somebody his name, like if I ask my brother what is his name, he'll say Vivek Joshi. That is how we identify ourselves as a body. But are we really a body? Right? All the yoga that we do, whether it is asana exercises, right, or whether it is meditation, pranayama, etc. What are all those for? Those are for taking us to the last state. So what is that state? To know who we exactly are. So dropping that one form, okay, not really dropping the body, but dropping that identity that I am somebody to I am somebody. Okay, that's somebody else. So making the realization that I am one with the something which is called as consciousness, which is called as Paramatma, which is called as Brahman, all these things. So making the union of these two and into one, that is called yoga. That is why it is called yoga. Fine. So for example, we have Patanjali Yoga Sutra. They have defined the uh, 8 stages of yoga. So they all start from yama, niyam, asana, pranayam, pratyahar, dharana, dhyan, samadhi. So last stage is samadhi. Samadhi is actually it is taking you to the things. Asana, that is exercises, is very primitive. It is just in the beginning. Fine. So all this that we do, whether we do Surya Namaskar, whether we do Sarvangasana, anything that leads us to the final state where we are one with the consciousness, and that is the real yoga. So why Vasishtha then? Okay, so real name is Yoga Vasishtha. If you read that properly, I mean, in the flow of saying that, we say Yoga Vasishtha. It's not Vasishtha, it is Vasishtha. The name of the sage is Vasishtha. Okay, somebody say Vasishtha, somebody say Vasishtha. No problem. But the name of the sage is Vasishtha. Book's name is Yoga Vasishtha. Why? Because Vasishtha has given that. That is why it is called Vasishtha. As simple as that. Fine. So Vasishtha Rishi, Vasishtha sage, he has given this knowledge to Lord Ram, where Ram was able to identify oneself or himself as the one with the consciousness. And that is where his awakening has happened. We call this awakening getting nirvana, getting liberated, having mukti, etc., etc. Right? We hear these terms. So, Maria and her friend, are you able to understand my accent? Any problems? No, I'm good. Okay. So yeah, I have to make sure my people who are in front of me they also understand. So that is what Yoga Vasishtha is. All right. So we'll be talking about it. And before I proceed on that, one small thing. See, all that I'm going to say is the knowledge in the book. There may be chances that I may have misinterpreted something. So, if something you like, something you feel, oh, this is so great, then that is the book, that is the Guru's grace, Vasishtha's grace, Rama's grace. But if you feel something which is like, oh, it don't strike well, it's nonsense, or I don't like it, or something, then that is my ignorance. So for something that you like, please thank the Guru and the book. If you don't like something, please forgive me, assuming that some ignorant person is sitting in front of you and he is sharing something. Okay, good. Our flow today in the entire session we will be starting with introduction to Yoga Vasishtha, how it is, how the entire story happened, and during that we will also have some pranayam, we will have some meditation, we will have some discussions. All right. So this is how it will be. And if there are any questions, I would encourage you to have questions. Probably towards the end of the session, we will have some time for that, because I'm sure once I start it, you will be so much engrossed, because not because of the me, it is because of the book itself, that you would like the stories very much and will be probably not willing to have interruption. In case you wish to have any break, biological break or something, you are free to do that. Okay, no problem for me. Fine. So, Yoga Vasishtha, the book itself, it starts with one very beautiful word. That word is Sutikshna. Okay. So, a boy called Sutikshna, he comes to sage Agastya, and he says, I want to know about the life. He says, what should one do? Should one just perform all karma, all meditation and worships and prayers, etc., etc.? Is that the way, or should one devote completely to spirituality? Is that the way, or should one get engaged into all the daily activities? That is the way. So, is it karma, okay, or action versus the inaction versus the spirituality? By the way, spirituality is not in action, but then it was his impression. So, what should I do? Now, before we proceed, we focus on this word called Sutikshna. So, Su is beautiful, okay, or it is nice, good, and Tikshna is sharp. Now, the Yoga Vasishtha has to start with this word, Sutikshna. Why? Somebody who has got a sharp intellect is going to ask this question. He is supposed to ask this question, not anybody else. Why? Because that question about living would have to come from him. Somebody who has no awareness about the life, he would not ask this question. Now, I have a question for most of you. What is the first question that should come to our mind when we become a little aware about ourselves? Like when we are born, probably we are not aware about ourselves. But after that, when we get into our life, when we start realizing two things, maybe we are at the age of 12, 14, 16, 20, sometime, the first question that we should get, what should that question be? Who am I? Right? Correct? Because we are born, so the first thing that is happening, that has happened in our life is we have arrived on this earth. Okay. So first thing should happen. Okay, who am I? Why I am here? What is all this? These questions, when they come to us, then we should strive to find out the answers for that. But usually uh, we get carried away in the flow of life, and this question never comes. So sometime this should come. I I usually say this, that we have got a body, and as a body, when we are living, we should ask this question to ourselves, the first question, that who am I? And if we don't ask this question, then when the life ends, when we go to the God will ask this question. Did you at least think who are you? Why you were there? And when we say no, I didn't have a chance, he said that is the first thing you should do. Right? You are sent there to know why, who are you? If you haven't answered, if you had If you haven't made an attempt even to find out that, then please go back, take another birth, okay, go through that cycle. So that is why what I did, the first thing, okay, that you pat your back is because at least today you are getting a chance to think, who am I? That is the first thing we should have. The second point is this book talks about freedom, nirvana, liberation, mukti, etc. Right? All these different words we have heard. Now, what is our definition of freedom? Can we get a definition of freedom? Anybody? See, there is nothing right or wrong. You can tell, I feel this is freedom. Go ahead, please.
To do what you want to be happy in your life, like, without harming anybody, and be free to think and speak your mind.
Okay, good. So to do whatever you want, right? Without harming anybody else, right? Very nice. Anything else?
No limits.
No limits. Okay. Freedom from? Freedom from rebirth. Okay, yeah. But then how do we know whether we are free from rebirth or not? I mean, this might be my first birth, and next birth I don't know whether it was my rebirth or not. So, so any other definition? I mean, this is also right. This is typically what we have heard in the books we have read in the scriptures. But while living here,
to take away the illusion of control.
okay, so take control of the illusion on us. Okay, good, very nice. Yes, sir.
Maybe the feeling that you do not want anything. Total cessation of all desire.
Wow, very nice. Cessation of all desires. Desirelessness.
Freedom to think.
Freedom to think. Okay, good, very nice.
To get to get out of the feeling of
Bondage.
control of the desire and craving.
Craving. Okay. That is also nice. I mean, sometimes you don't want to be in a situation where there are cravings, but they happen. You want to be in a moment where, okay, now let me be still, calm, no thoughts should come. They keep on coming. Okay, very good. Fine. So all these definitions are correct. Okay. But if you ask the youths, their definition would be, if I want to go for a movie, I shouldn't be required to ask my mom and dad. Okay. And if I ask, they should say yes. It's not even asking, telling. I mean, mom, can I go to the movie is one thing. Okay, that is not freedom. But mom, I am going for the movie. And she says, okay, go. I'm not even asking for an acknowledgement. Right? So that is the definition of freedom for them. So most of the times, this is what we have heard. Being able to do what I like. Right? In spirituality, this is the most wrong definition of freedom. Because, because we are in a life where we don't get to do anything that or everything that we like. Just look at our own life, right? Most of us are here. Maybe we didn't want to come here, but kind of the situation forced us. After coming here, we wanted to go back, but again, the situation there is not so comfortable, so we are continuing here. Right? There are so many things. Now, then what is the definition of freedom? The freedom is at the mind level. Okay? The other definition is exactly opposite to what we heard. Liking or doing what you like is one thing, but not everybody gets it. The other thing is liking what you do. So anything that comes to your life, okay, we should be able to enjoy that. That is the real definition of freedom. And that is what is going to, you are going to understand it through this book, like the today's discourse. What does that really mean? Whether I get sorrow, whether I get diseases, whether I get wrong incidences, wrong people around me, anything that happens, still I should be able to keep myself happy. Okay, how do you do that? What knowledge makes oneself that happy? That irrespective of anything that is happening around you, one is still happy, one is unshakable. That is the book of Yoga Vasishtha. I term this book as the best book on psychology. Okay, once you are through that, nothing can shake you. Trust me, nothing can really shake you. You are unshakable. Now there starts the story. So Sutishna, he came to sage Agastya and he asked that this is what I want to know. Right? What is important? Should one get engaged into daily life and focus on action, or should one get into spirituality? So sage says the way a bird needs two wings to fly, okay, you cannot fly with one wings. So both the things are important. I'll set a background for this. Just imagine if I decide to just follow the scripture continuously right from my childhood, as soon as I am aware. What life I am going to have? Nothing. I'll be studying this, and then maybe giving discourses here, and sometimes maybe sitting in the Himalayas also. Whatever knowledge I have acquired, I don't know whether that is really useful or not. How do I test my mind is peaceful or not? Like tomorrow morning, I wake up and I tell my wife, please give me tea. And she says, go to hell, I will not give. That moment, will this knowledge be applicable or not? If it is applicable, then I will be at peace. Okay, fine, I will make it myself. I will make one for you also. Okay, be happy. That is the knowledge. Otherwise, if there is no application, correct? So both the things are needed to get into this. We need both the things. Is it hot, sir? Or any problem? Then he told a story. Now, Yoga Vasishtha's beauty is there are stories within stories within stories. So the actual Yoga Vasishtha starts at the seventh level of the stories. Okay, stories within stories. So what you should do, you need not focus on who is saying what, which characters are coming. Like we started with Satikshna and Agastya. Then we'll have Karunya and Agnivesh. Then we will have Suruchi and the messenger of God. And then we will have so many things. So don't get into all of these things. Okay, because we started a little late, I will have to cut few things. But please come forward. We have empty seats here. So yeah. So don't focus on who is saying what. Okay. Otherwise, there are so complex stories. Even Harry Potter will be like you will feel that it is a very simple thing compared to the complexity here. So focus on the messages. Okay, that is what I will urge. Now we start this story, Sutikshna, Agastya. Then there is a story that was told by Agastya. Said there is a guy called Karunya and his father Agnivesh. Then they had some dialogue. Then again, the father started telling a story which was about a nymph which is called Suruchi. She was sitting somewhere. She saw a messenger of God. Then she asked, "Where are you going?" The messenger of God said, there is a king called Arishtanemi, and he was performing his tapas. Okay, at tapas, you understand, he was performing his prayers at the mountain called Gandhamadan. And because he had done his tapas for a long time, then Lord Indra, he became happy and he sent his messenger that, okay, now go and invite him to the heaven. So the messenger went and said, King, please join us. You are going to go to the heaven. So King was very intelligent. He said, okay, I'm happy to come to the heaven because that is what many people are. Everybody here, like said, all of us are willing to go to heaven, yes or no? No? Say yes, at least if you are going to heaven. Any doubt? Everybody wants to go to heaven. No, forget. You don't know is a different story, but typically that is what we strive for, right? Better than hell. So this guy, now your concept will be shattered. That is the beauty of yoga system. Okay, it shatters every fundamental assumption, and that makes you a really great person who is wise enough to think that anything that you assume, okay, it shatters it. First, it makes you aware that whatever you are assuming, just question it. Okay, that awareness comes. So this guy, Arishtanemi, he was very wise. He said, "Wow, I'll be happy, but first tell me what is heaven." So the messenger was surprised. He said, "That is the place everybody wants to be." It is such a beautiful thing. He was a typical marketing agent, right? Marketing executive of the heaven. He said, it is such a beautiful thing. You have beautiful names there. There are like all what? Mm, what scenery, beautiful scenery, gardens, right? Waterfalls, etc., etc. Pleasant temperature, not hot, no so cool, not so cool, etc. You'll be having a beautiful life. He said, okay, good. I liked it. But there must be something which is negative about the heaven, right? He was very intelligent. Then the messenger said, yes, there are other sides of the story also. What are those? The messenger told that in heaven, it's not one layer that you go to first floor or second floor or third floor. Okay, there are multiple floors. And each floor is having its own weightage. So according to your floor or according to your level, then you develop either an ego or jealousy. Like for example, if you somebody who is on a level which is below you, then you feel proud of yourself. See, I'm here and that guy is there. Okay. On the other hand, if you somebody who is above you, then you become jealous and you start questioning that fool. He shouldn't be there. Why is he there? I don't know. God must have made some mistake. That is how the jealousy also comes. Second thing, that your heaven is not a permanent place. Why? Because it is like a bank account. All the good fortunes that you have accumulated here on the earth, you will start enjoying. That is like emptying your bank account. Okay, I am enjoying America, but my bank account is getting emptied there, isn't it? So similarly, your account is emptied. As soon as your account is down, it is empty, you are thrown back to the earth. It is like telling somebody who has started a startup with a vision to have a big corporate, and suddenly somebody comes and says, okay, I'm giving you an offer and I want to acquire you. Take this much money and settle down. Arishtanemi, King Arishtanemi, was a real entrepreneur. He said, I don't want this. I am looking for a place from where I am not going to come back and where there are no such emotional situations. Okay, that I will be in a dilemma, I will be having a jealousy, I will be having ego, etc. I don't want to go through all of this and I don't want to come back. So you please go. That's what he told the messenger. Messenger went back to Indra. Indra said, now he is matured enough to get the real knowledge. Now you take him to sage Valmiki. So then that time the messenger took this Arishtanemi to sage Valmiki. So we are getting into stories, okay? But you please focus again on. Don't try to remember where we started from. That's not at this. I have given so many lectures. That's why I know the sequence and all. You don't please focus on it, right? Then he's taken to sage Valmiki. So Valmiki says he welcomes it, and then king asks, please tell me what is the real knowledge. So Valmiki said, okay, I will tell you the story of Rama. Now we know who's Rama. Most of us know. King Arishtanemi also knew, but he said, please tell me who is. Again, he doesn't assume anything. Okay, he says, you are talking about the same Rama that I am thinking about. हाँ, तुम वही सोच रहे हो जो मैं सोच रहा हूँ. Right? That is what he said. And then he told, okay, this is what he was the son of Dasharath, etc., etc. And there, the sage Valmiki told that after I wrote the Ramayana, okay, most of us would have read about Ramayana, we have seen the serials. I wrote Ramayana, and after it was completed, my disciple Bharadwaj, I told it, narrated him the Ramayana, and he narrated the Ramayana to uh, Lord Brahma. After hearing this, Brahma was very happy. He said, wow, what a scripture you have written. But this is incomplete. Why? Because you have created a documentary of Sachin Tendulkar that he played such a nice cricket. Sachin Tendulkar, most of us know, right? He is a great cricketer in India. So he has batted so much and he played so well, etc., etc. But then what made Sachin Tendulkar a Sachin Tendulkar? That also people should know. We hear the stories of Ramayana. We know how Ram behaved. But what made Ram Ram? That also people should know. So go into that. Then the messenger, the Bharadwaj and Brahma came to Valmiki and told the same thing, that please create a scripture which will help people to become Ram and sail through this ocean of samsara or ocean of this creation so that they become liberated. That is why this book, Yoga Vasishtha, is known to give direct liberation. No other book claims that, this book claims it. That is the beauty. And there is where Valmiki started writing this Yoga Vasishtha. So Yoga Vasishtha is 32,000 verses. Ramayana is around 18,000 verses. Okay, Shloka. This is 32,000, one of the biggest books. And it has got 6 chapters. The first 5 chapters on one side, and the sixth chapter is in 2 parts, which is Nirvana, it is on the other side. And these two, like they are almost 50-50. 5 chapters, 50%, remaining one chapter is 50%. So we will go through this. So Valmiki said there is an incident in the life of Ram where he completed his education and he was around 15, 16 years of age. And that time, Ram, after completing the education, he was living happily at Dasharatha's house, Dasharatha's palace. And he said, one day he came to Dasharath and said, I want to go and go on for a pilgrimage. I would want to visit various ashrams, various places. So he went, and after coming back, he suddenly became very weak, very pale, as if like he was becoming, his body started becoming yellowish. It was so loss of charm and loss of enthusiasm for him. He would just sit like this and focus somewhere in the sky and say nothing. So one day his father asked, "Then what's wrong with you, Ram?" So he said, as a 16-year boy, typically they don't open up so easily with the parents. Same thing he said. Oh, no, nothing there. I'm all right. Then the same question Dasharath asked to sage Vasishtha, that something is happening with Ram. Do you know what is there? So Vasishtha thought for a while and he said, well, these are normal. And if something is happening, so for great people, nothing happens for without a reason. There must be something coming up. So let's wait. And after a few days, then sage Vishwamitra comes to Dasharatha. We know this story. Vishwamitra comes and he says that Ravan's demons, they are troubling me. So please send Rama with me. Now we know Dasharath initially denies and then says yes. So he says, okay, go and call Ram, and I would want to send him with Vishwamitra. So the attendant of Ram, he comes and he narrates the entire story to the to all the audience. And in the court, he says, King, you are asking Ram to go and fight a war, but you know what his situation is. I mean, we have to go and tell him to take food. We have to go and tell him to take a bath. Otherwise, he is not ready to do anything. How come such a person who has lost total enthusiasm, who is not willing to do anything, can go and fight wars with such strong demons? That's not possible. So after hearing this, Vishwamitra and Vasishtha say, "Oh, is it? Then let us talk to him. Please call him here. We'll speak to him. What is the problem?" Then he comes, Lord Ram comes there, and after coming there, they ask, "What is the problem, child? Why are you so upset?" So for us, it is for an ordinary person, that state is like a state of depression. Okay, in spiritual language, it is a state of dispassion. Why and what is that dispassion? So Ram said, "Those sages, I have um, I'm born here with Dasharatha at his place. I have grown up here. I had all the pleasures. And then I also had a pilgrimage. And when I started thinking, I saw that everybody who is born here is for pleasure, happiness. Okay. And they don't get it. Right? We are born here to have pleasure and happiness, to have freedom. Right? We talked about freedom. That we want to have a life where nobody questions us. I want to do something. Okay, go and do it. That is what we want to have. If I want to acquire something, I should be able to acquire that. But everybody wants to have that, but not a single person is able to get it so easily. For it easily, they hardly get it. We'll have only sages like you, let's say Vishwamitra or Vasishtha, who have that eternal smile, but not everybody has it. People are born to get happiness, and for happiness, what do? They earn money, they run after Lakshmi, right? Lakshmi is the symbol of wealth. So they try to acquire a lot of wealth. They acquire wealth, but are they happy? They're not happy, right? All wealthy people, are they happy? Do you agree? Not all wealthy people are necessarily happy. Then they create relations, they get married, they create friends, so many things. But again, are they happy? Married guys, are they happy? You said no. Okay, I didn't say anything. So friends, again, don't there is no happiness. Then he says, people talk about uh, like time. If not today, tomorrow I'll be happy. The time also doesn't allow anybody to be happy. You know what? When I was in Cisco, I have been into spirituality for a long time, and my practices and then all these service projects, etc. What is this? Like this is the time where you should work from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. and then learn a lot of money, earn a lot of money, and do a lot of things. The spirituality, etc. All these things are to be done after the age of 60, after retirement. I said, I was reading Yoga Vasishtha around that time. I said, yeah, so true. I'm not so sure about my retirement. Okay, you are sure that you will retire at the age of 60 and then you will have time to do so many things. But for me, I don't know whether I will reach 60 or not. There is no guarantee. So let me do everything that is possible in this life itself. Okay, you be sure you do whatever you want after 60. That is what Ram says. He says people are so confident about time that I will do tomorrow this thing, then at the age of 60, I will do this thing, at the age of 70, I will do this thing. But time is not a slave of anybody. It cannot guarantee anything. So how can I even plan for anything? Then he says our mind, this mind doesn't let anybody sit quietly. Correct? I mean, if you think the mind is continuously wandering here and there, it is not allowing us to sit comfortably. Something or other thoughts keep on coming. Either the fights that have happened or the worries that are going to be in future, whether my child will go to this school, that school, education, whether they will take care of me or not. So many things, right? All the past memories, good, bad, anything that comes. So all these things keep on happening, and that is why if the mind is not silent, then do whatever that I I'm not silent. So how to take care of this mind? If I cannot handle this mind, then what do I do? He was showing a very poor picture there in front of all this. Then he said, look at this body. I do so many people do so many things for this body, right? But what is this body? This body, end of the day, it dumps you, right? Last moment, it says, okay, I'm leaving you. Whoever you are, you live the way you are, but I am leaving you. And we love this body so much, but what's in this body? If you cut it open, okay, what is it filled up of? You know, I can't even utter. That body has so many things. Why should you love it? Okay, we create. He also said about woman. I mean, it's not that time we in our scriptures, woman is said as a maya, somebody who is attracts a purush, okay, from doing his duties. So it is both ways. He said woman attracts a man or man attracts a woman. Now again, that attraction is towards body. They don't know each other, right? They just attract the body with each other, and that body also becomes untouchable after a few years. Then only the memories remain. What is there in that body? He also said the stages of life, right? Somebody says a child is happy. Our child is. Do you say that childhood is the best part of our life? Do you agree? Childhood is the best part. No? So Ram says he also thrashes this concept. Okay, and see how beautifully he says. Ram said that we say childhood is the best place, but tell me, a very small child, he can't even tell what is happening to it, right? If he has stomachache, he will cry. If he is hungry, he will cry. If he wants something, he will cry. If he's feeling cold, he will cry. If he's feeling hot, he will cry. So only crying is the way of communicating. Now, what he needs is subject to the interpretation of his mother. Correct? If she has come out having a round or she has jogged and now she is feeling hot and he is crying because of cold, what would she do? Because she is feeling hot, she will remove his clothes, right? Probably he is feeling hot. So that guy can't do anything. So situation here, you are so much dependent on somebody else. How can that be happy state? It's not happy. Okay, the child grows, he starts walking, etc. He starts talking to people. Now the elder children, they make use of him. They say, okay, please go and ring the bell of your neighbor. This guy goes and rings the bell, and then they shout at him. And why did you come? Or they complain to the parents. Parents again shout at him. He said, what did I do? My elder brother told me, I followed him. Right? Again, you are dependent on somebody else. Then go to the school. That stage, is that a pleasant state? Ask today's children. For them, parents as well as school teachers, both of them are terrorists. Ask them, right? They can't even complain. So that is such a state. He said the school and the teachers, so they are afraid of parents as well as teachers simultaneously. And in that state, they grow up. Can that be a state of pleasure? No. Then you become a youth. In youth, you are attracted, you are caught up by the lust and the wavering mind, continuously going here, there, confused, don't know what to do, whether to focus on studies, whether to focus on girlfriend, boyfriend. What do you do? Nothing. All that state is confused. You pass through that, and suddenly adulthood stands in front of you. There, you don't have time to do anything. Correct? Now, you are like a donkey where we are running continuously after job, family, and till the age of retirement or till our children they are on or on their own, we are now nowhere. So that is what he narrated. He said in this situation, and again I am asking you this question: where do you think that we should live? Where, as in what stage, what because of what reason we should remain alive and we should continue our life? Is there a reason? There is no reason. If you listen to Rama, there is no real reason why we should be continuing our life. He said, committing suicide is a sin. Okay, that's why I won't do that. Please understand. But for living this life, I don't find a reason as well. Because I know I'm not going to get happiness. I know I'm not going to have liberation. So if nothing is going to happen, then why should I live? As a logical mind, he said very nicely, or maybe I would like to summarize that. He said, if we are doing something for something, like if we are doing some actions for happiness, and if that happiness is not going to come to us ever, then why should we be running after that? Again, this cycle will continue. Somebody said very nicely that it is the freedom from desires. The desires can't end, they will keep on coming. And to fulfill those desires, one has to get up every day, do something, and till the end of life, desires don't end. And there, at the end of life, because there are unfulfilled desires, we are not satisfied. The nature's law is it has to fulfill your desires. So nature will make you take a rebirth. You'll have to come again. Again, new desires, again that life. So it is endless. It is like a race which is never going to end. So why to run that? That is why I say I don't want to live this life. Anybody wants to live this life? Give me a reason if there is a real reason. That is why I say today I forgot to warn you that, but because dinner is waiting, I'm sure you will not quit. Okay. I usually tell people that when I start this portion of the book, the scripture, you have to promise that you will stay here till the session is over. Because after listening to this, there may be a feeling that, okay, fine, forget everything, go home or don't do anything. Now, but we know Ram, right? He was a super performer, he was a superhero. So, what made him that? The next part that comes from Vasishtha is the real Yoga Vasishtha, which transformed him from this state where he did not want to live a life to somebody who is a superhero. Otherwise, at his state of mind, if he was married to Sita and if Sita was kidnapped, abducted by Ravan, what he would have said later, okay, what to do? There is anyway no pleasure after that. That's not the state. When this was happening, yes, please.
Uh, Could you please tell us which chapters you are?
Yes. So this is Prakaran, Vairagya chapter, okay, which is this is the first chapter of Yoga Vasishtha. It is called Vairagya, which is dispassion. Ram is expressing his state of dispassion. Okay. Now, when this was happening, the all the celestial beings, Siddha, Rishi, saints, everything, who were all over across the Brahmand, all over across the universe, they realized that Vishwamitra is in the court of Dashrath. That means something is going to happen. Vishwamitra doesn't go anywhere just like that. If he goes somewhere, something is going to happen. So immediately phone calls went on. Okay, see, something is going to happen there. Then they invited Ram. So there is something even bigger going to happen. So said, now let's rush to the court. So by the time Ram started, everybody was there in the court and they listened to him. And while Rama was narrating his state of mind, there was complete silence. Okay, even the horses also stopped. They were not making any noise. Nobody. Everything stopped. All the women also they were standstill. So with this, they said after Rama narrated their thing, they were so happy. They said, "Wow, this is the knowledge we were looking for. We were asking the same question: Why to live the life? Why to live the life?" Okay, and then all of them started looking at Vasishtha and Vishwamitra to see now what they have to say. So first Vishwamitra started because he was the one who came there. He said, "Oh Ram, you have all the knowledge. You have already narrated everything that is very important to know. Okay, it is like having a dust on the mirror. Our job is to just clean the mirror so that you can see what you are really. That is what we are going to do now. Let me tell you a story. Vishwamitra started with a story. That story is so now we are stories within stories. Okay, so let's get into it. Let's dive deeper into the stories. Vishwamitra told that once the son of sage Vyas, his name is Shuka. Now, most of you heard of it, Shuka. Shuka is the name of son of Vyasa. And he went to Vyas, his father, and he asked, Dad, please tell me what is this whole world about? What is this creation? Who am I? What is all this happening? So Vyas gave him all the answers, and Shuka was not satisfied. He said, I know all of this, what you are telling me. Shuka was also enlightened, but he was not having that conviction. So Vyas said, yeah, okay, then you go to Janaka, okay, and you talk to him. Like when our children ask us something and we tell and they are not convinced, what do we say? Go to Google and ask him, right? So similarly, he was sent to Janaka. He went to Janaka and wanted to ask the same question. When he reached the doors of the palace and he sent a message to a servant that please tell King Janaka that I am son of Vyas, I am Shuka, and I am here to meet him. So that was with utmost humbleness that he passed that message. And Janaka realized that Shuka is not here for a small reason and he would have already got something. So Janaka decided to give him a glimpse of what he is really. How did he do that? People say he actually tried to have an examination of it. Okay, but it was not examination. He said, let him wait there. So the messenger said, please stand here. Now he was standing there for 7 days. And without any arrogance, without any impatience, he patiently waited there. The other side of the story is also there. Somebody said, okay, please hand him over a bowl of oil, which is completely filled to the brim. Okay, give him the bowl and ask him to go around in Mithila. Mithila was the kingdom that was the capital of Janaka. Ask him to go around the entire capital and come back. And not a single drop should fall. If It spills over, then he'll have to fill it again completely and again go. Now, why? What was that? And that was testing Shukam. What is Shuka known for, by the way? Vairagya. Total dispassion, right? So he said that was a test given to him. So Shuka did that. Why was that? Because Mithila was full of beauty. It was having so many functions, so many ceremonies going on. So if somebody is focused on the bowl and he's walking around the capital, and if he lifts his neck or tries to see somewhere, there are chances that the bowl will spill. That test is today for our students, our children. We were discussing the story of Shuka, and so King Janaka asked him to go around the Mithila, and this is what our students and in general us also. If we want to achieve something in life, we should focus that way. Student, if we are doing something, if we are studying some subject, typically if there is a cricket match going on, what happens? If we are focusing on our studies and suddenly somebody says, oh, six, or out of four or whatever, immediately we go and start looking there. What is happening? That is what our focus is. And look at Shuka. Shuka is a symbol of dispassion. It is said so much about Shuka, though his father also is enlightened, that if, see, there is a pond where women they were taking a bath. If Vyasa goes along that route, these ladies will take their clothes, okay, or they will hide in the water. But if Shuka is going by that route, they will be totally nonchalant. They will say, okay, nothing to worry about. He's Shuka, he's not going to look at us. His eyes will be focused on his route only. Okay, that is what the concentration, that is what being dispassionate. So as a student also we should be like Shuka. So dispassionate about other things, at least while doing the studies. When we are enjoying our things, we should be enjoying that. But when we are in studies, be dispassionate. Shuka is really a role model. If we are achieving, if we are in our business or something, anything as a sports, right? Again, be dispassionate. Sachin Tendulkar was dispassionate about so many things. That's why he could spend a lot of time in the net and become Sachin Tendulkar. So this Shuka, it was so easy for him. He went around the city and came back and not a single drop spilled over. Then he was brought in. Again, he was made to sit 7 days inside the court, inside the palace. Still, Janaka did not visit. After that, Janaka came and met him and he said, okay, tell me. So the same set of questions Shuka asked. And Janaka said, gave the same answers that his father gave. So again, Shuka said, I know everything. Janaka said, yes, that is what is. You know, but you haven't probably realized. So do go and spend some time, contemplate on it, and then you will be going getting everything. So then Shuka went on, and then it is said that he spent a lot of time on Meru mountain contemplating, and then as a drop of water gets merged into ocean, he also got merged into the consciousness. And after that, then Vishwamitra, he turned to Vasishtha and he said, you are the Kula Guru. What is a Kula Guru? Kula Guru is the Guru of the entire lineage. So you have that right, authority, and also duty to now enlighten Ram. So everybody said yes, because they knew Vasishtha was Brahmarshi. He had every knowledge. So everybody said yes, 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 you please now start doing that. And then people started looking at Vasishtha. So Vasishtha rose and he said, he asked the first question, oh Ram, I'll educate you. But before I do that, I wanted to know if you have any questions. So Ram said yes. He, Vishwamitra mentioned that this Shuka, he got enlightened. But there is a Vyas also sitting here. How about that? He is not enlightened. Now the question that would come to our mind is Vyas is from Mahabharata time, which was post Ramayana. And how come Vyas was there in the Dasharatha's time? So um, Vyas, Shukra, Vasishtha, Vishwamitra, etc. They are beyond the Chatur Yuga. Chatur Yuga is there are four yugas, right? So they are beyond that. They can live beyond that. And that's what Vasishtha told. Vasishtha said the Shuka and Vyas that you are talking about, okay, they are not this couple. They are not this father and son. There are 32 Vyas that have happened so far. Not all Vyas were enlightened. Okay, not all Shuka were enlightened. So this is not the one that you are talking about. So first assume, and that is the first thing that we have to know, that it's not only one life or one birth that we take. There are many births, and we also exist many places. People like Vyas, they can move from one universe to another universe. So they are there. That is why what you are seeing here, who has just arrived, okay, he is not the one Vyas that you are talking about. Okay, fair enough. Then second thing Vyas said, now you wanted to know the freedom, how to get freedom, happiness, etc. So first thing, understand anything that one achieves in life is only through efforts. If you don't put in efforts, then you get nothing. We see all people who are successful or so called successful in life, they are purely because of their efforts, self effort, their karma. Okay, we ourselves are here because we had some time put in a lot of efforts to be here, right? It is hardly by luck. We say it is something by luck, but it is not fate, it is not luck. If somebody really says that I am doing something and I have achieved this thing because of luck, then don't be with them. Okay, don't even stand along with them. Shun the company of such people who rely on luck. Because there is nothing called luck, there is nothing called fate. All that is there is the result of your past karma. They may be past karma of this life, the past karma may be of previous life or previous lives, right? But whatever is happening today is because of your previous efforts or previous karma, previous actions. But there is one thing for sure, the previous karma, previous actions, their fruits, they are decided, they are limited. Now, what does it mean? That means that whatever we have done, there is a rule that this is going to happen to you, and that is fixed. But today, at this moment, you have the freedom to overcome the fruits of previous actions. So today you can decide what you want to do. Like for example, if you want to measure the fruits of actions in kilograms, so all your previous actions fruits are if they are 10 kilogram, and if you want to undo those or if you want to overcome those, you have to put in efforts, okay, positive efforts, which will overweigh these 10 kilograms of fruits. So take positive actions. An example, some child who doesn't study mathematics well in ninth or 10th standard, his certain area is weak. Now, if he comes in 11th standard, 12th standard, and he says, "Oh, I don't understand this topic, that topic, and it is my not in my luck," that's not appropriate because he did not study, so he is not understanding certain topics. Does it mean that he is forever going to be doomed? He will not understand mathematics at all? No. Today he has time. Today he has energy. Today he has the freedom to put in appropriate efforts, study everything, overcome that, and be a champion in mathematics. He can still do that. Nothing is stopping. So that is like a fight of two bulls, right? Who wins, past karma or present karma? Past karma has limited power. Present karma has unlimited power. He can do anything and overcome it. To make this point more meaningful, Vasishtha also gave an example of four doorkeepers. He said, "You want to achieve liberation, so it is like a castle, and for that castle, there are four gatekeepers or doorkeepers. What are those? First one is self control. Okay, that is like you are, it is in spiritual language, it is called Shama. Okay, Shama is able to control our own desires and our own actions. Second thing is contentment, samadhan. Contentment is be happy, be contented, be satisfied whatever you have. The third thing he said is the quest for knowledge. Okay, vicha. What is quest for knowledge? That who am I? That is the first thing you should have. That is the right thought you should have. And the fourth thing is company of holy ones, which is called as satsanga. Now, let's elaborate on these 4 points. And these are really, really useful points. If you even understand them, master them, okay, the life will get transformed. Let's understand from the real life perspective. First thing is called as self-control. Again, let's take an example of a student, somebody who is preparing for the GRE exam or SAT here, right? If that student is studying and then there are so many of distractions, what can happen to him? He runs after the distractions, then there is no self-control. So, what is his liberation? We are talking about spiritual liberation, that is like taking control of our desires, so that if the desires are not there, then rebirth is not there. That is simple equation. So if that thing is going to happen for spiritual folks, for a student, what is his liberation? His liberation is the winning the SAT exam, crossing it, or winning the clearing the GRE exam, and getting into the desired college. So to do that, to have that thing, what does he need? He needs to have self control. If he is having self control, full control on himself, he is focusing on studies, then he can easily achieve his liberation, that is, getting into the desired college. Right? That is what the liberation is. If we are focusing on some sports or business or whatever we want to do, again, same thing. Second is contentment. Contentment means being happy with whatever we have. It doesn't mean that you should not do anything else, but you should not also have complaining nature. Being content is okay, whatever I have, I am happy with that. Okay, there are no complaints, but then I still want to achieve something, so we can achieve. Most of the times what happens is we keep on complaining, so our all energy is on negative side. We don't focus on what we want to achieve, and there is a bigger problem, right? So that is what they say. You first be content, be happy with whatever you have. Third thing is the vichar, right thought. So for us, for a spiritual guy, right thought is like, who am I? Just keep on wondering about it. Who am I? What is this world? What is this creation? Etc. Etc. And then, if for a student again, the thought is, how do I succeed? What resources I should have? To whom should I talk? Etc. Etc. Right? That is the right thought. Other the thought of your liberation. So my liberation is GRE. My liberation is SAT. My liberation is IIT in India. Right? All these exams. Or my liberation is becoming a great baseball player. So I should continuously think about it. That is the right thought. That is vichar. And the fourth doorkeeper, the most important one, is satsanga, that is called company of holy ones. Right? Be in the company of great people who are aligned to your goal. If you want to get liberation in life, then be in the company of people who are attending such sessions. They are talking about Yoga Vasishtha, they are talking about Bhagavad Gita. If you are following a different religion, then you are reading the scriptures, right? Be in company of those people. Similarly, for students, you are preparing for SAT, you cannot be in a company of baseball player fans. Obvious, right? They will talk about baseballs, and you will not have any company who is talking about SAT. Similarly, because again, your goal of liberation, you decide what is my liberation and align yourself. So that right company matters. But there is one more important part. There is one more important aspect about the fourth doorkeeper. What is that? The first thing, first three things, that is self-control, contentment, and the right thought or quest for knowledge. Right? They are with us. They are, what are they? They are in our mind. They are on the mind level. They are subtle. So sometimes it is difficult to achieve those. I want to be happy, but my thoughts trigger me. I am watching, I'm studying, but some other triggers come to me. So all these things are not in our control. But the fourth one is in somebody else's control. If you have a true friend, a real friend, who can and whom you give your authority, who can dictate you, who can direct you to study or to focus on your things, then a company like that can really, really transform your life, right? That is very important. And that is the best thing. So, first thing you should do is among these four doorkeepers, find the right company. Just be with them. They will automatically train your brains. They will automatically take you to a level where you will be able to achieve your goals. So, that company matters. A man is known by his company is really, really true because that company itself changes your brain. So, these four gatekeepers he told. And then Vasishtha started telling stories. So here, typically, the second chapter, which is called the Mumukshu Vyavahar. Mumukshu Vyavahar is Mumukshu meaning somebody who is looking for freedom, and Vyavahar is behavior. So the behavior of a freedom seeker, how that should be, that is what is explained here. There are a lot of things in this, but we are now already running short of time, so I will have to uh, run a little fast. So many stories we have. I told you this is that 32,000 verses. It has 54 stories, and some stories are really, really long. I'll try to cover them in next 1 hour. If at all required, I will give you the freedom to take your dishes and have your dinner, and we'll still continue. If you agree with that, then I can take it to some more time. Anyway, the question comes that okay, let's start thinking about ourselves. Who am I? So when I say who am I see that am is coming, okay, or that I is coming. When I say I see something else. Now what is this? That question comes second. So before getting into that I, let's find out what all is this. So how many of us believe that this world is true? It is real? No? We must believe, no? This is the real world that we feel. You can, this world is real, isn't it? Yes or no? So how is this world created? What is the, how the world is created? Any answers? Big Bang Theory, I heard.
There are different theories where people follow different theories.
Yeah, people follow different theories. So Big Bang theory or some other theory. But in these theories, there is a point which says there was something. Okay, there was something, and then the bang happened, or it was a big bang happened, and then so many things started coming. What was before that? No answer yet. Okay, if they say before that, then again next question. Okay, what was before that? So sometime there will be a moment where we don't have answer. When scientists will say, okay, we'll have to find out. Correct? Now, the spiritual angle assumes, and it says that in the infinite time, there will be a moment where there was nothing. We'll have to answer from where all these stones, mountains, water, river, etc., whatever is created, it came. Even if it is a chemical reaction or water process, but it led out of something. So when salt is formed, it is out of sodium and chlorine. Now, when we say there was sodium and chlorine, so we have to answer this question: where did sodium and chlorine come from? So they say there is no answer to this, and this everything is an illusion. This is a world that is created, which is out of a dream. It's not actually created. So a story is narrated. It's a very beautiful, very long story. I will try to cut it short as much as possible. There were a queen and king called Leela, and her husband was Padma. So Padma and Leela, they were living a very beautiful life. One day, Leela thought, she pondered. She said, "This life is going to end sometime. If my husband dies before me, if his death occurs before me, then it will be difficult for me to sustain, to endure that pain. I will not be able to live without him. So let me call my goddess Saraswati." And she prayed for Saraswati. Saraswati came, and then she asked for boons. She said, Leela said that please make us live together forever. Saraswati said that you cannot. I mean, you are mortals. You are going to die sometime. It is not possible. Then said, okay, fine. Then if my husband dies before me, let him remain him in this room itself. That is one, so that his body remains here. And second, whenever I request you, please be here. So Saraswati said, okay, fine, that is doable. Then as time passed, her husband died, Padma died. Then she prayed for Saraswati. Saraswati came and said, okay, now cover him with some specific flowers and oil so that his body is retained, it doesn't deteriorate. Then second thing she asked, now tell me where is my husband? His body is here, but where is he? Now see, we are discussing two things: a body and the real him, soul. So where is he? So Saraswati said, okay, I will show you. Come with me. You meditate, and I will tell what where is he. So Leela started meditating. When Leela started meditating, she saw that there is a different universe in which her husband was there. He was having his own kingdom, and in that court, in his court, She saw all the ministers, all the praja, that population, right? All the people there, they all were there in his court. Now she got surprised. How come the same ministers be here and there too at the both the places? I know my husband died, but doesn't mean that the entire ministry died. Right? That's not possible. So she again woke up and she called all her ministers, etc. They all came. Now it was a even shocking situation for her. She said, "How can they be here and there at both the places?" So she thanked them. They all went, and again Leela prayed Saraswati that please come and now guide me. So Goddess Saraswati again appeared in front of her. Leela asked her, "What is the truth?" So Saraswati asked a counter question. What do you perceive as a truth? She said, I see myself here, I am talking to you, this is truth. When I closed my eyes, okay, and I saw my husband and his universe and I saw all those ministers, etc., that is probably a dream. Leela Saraswati said, okay, but by that logic, even what you are seeing is also a dream. No? Just imagine today is Friday evening. If you are working, you took a half day off. You came home, had a very nice food, very nice lunch, and you decided to have a nap before attending this session. Now that nap, you forgot to set an alarm or so, and that food has created such a magic that you are still sleeping. And then you imagine that I have gone to Seashore 5350, okay, and I am attending this session. I am meeting my friends. There is some unknown face I am seeing, etc., etc. Now tell me that is a possibility or not? Because dreams they look so real, right? We have our heartbeats increase. We feel that we also have perplexing situation, right? We feel that. So the dream is real in real time, and we are so attached to that. So whether this world is real or not, there is where Leela says, Saraswati says, okay, let me tell you a story. What you are seeing is also not real. Then what she said, I will take you to your previous birth. In your previous birth, okay, you were wife of a Brahmin called Vasishtha and your name was Arundhati. Now these Vasishtha and Arundhati now are not the same sages, they are just like ordinary couple. Then there that time also you are praying me, and that time also you had asked that if my husband dies, okay, his body would be returning there, and I will come and bless you. So you that happened, but before the death, your husband he was watching a procession of a big king, and he dreamt, though he was an ordinary person, he dreamt that in my next life, I also want to become a king. And with that thought persistent in his mind, he died. And in that house itself, okay, he started his own universe. He created his own universe. He became Padma, and because of that boon that I had given you, you became his wife, which is Leela. And now you are here, and now that because he is dead, you had this life, and then your husband has started next life. So Leela said, I can't believe this. Take me and show me where was that Arundhati, where was my previous life. So Leela took her, Saraswati took Leela to the previous life, and goddess showed that when they arrived there, they actually saw the children, they were kind of in a very sorrow state. So they talked to them that what happened? Why are you crying? Why are you so much depressed? So the children said, our parents, we were having a very beautiful life, but just 8 days ago, they died. That is why we are in a grief-full situation. So Saraswati and Leela, they consoled them and they started coming back. Now a question comes which Ram asked, and which is obvious, and even Saraswati, Leela also asked to Goddess Saraswati, that guy mentioned that his parents died just 8 days ago. But we lived for almost 60 years or so many years. So how can that be? Because 8 days of their death should be then 8 days of our life. We should have been children of 8 days approximately, but then we are so much grown up. So how is that? There is where the theory of relativity comes in picture. Einstein, though he had given this theory of relativity, this scripture he had it since a long time. At least this scripture is known to be at least written in the first version is known to be in the year of 1200. Okay, so ancient. So they said the time and space is relative. You human beings, that is what Goddess Saraswati said. The concept of time and space is for you folks. Okay, in the infinite consciousness, infinite space, there is no concept of time and space. It is difficult to understand. But let's see when we talk about time, or I say it is 8:30 or 8:15. What does it mean 8:15? Relatively, if I start calculating, the Earth is revolving and then we sleep. Now we have divided the one rotation of Earth, okay, into 24 parts, and then we have divided it again into 60 minutes, 60 seconds, etc., etc. So this time, if you see it from Saturn's point of view or some other planet's point of view, it would be what? It would be even faster. Correct, because now we are watching it from other end. Just imagine you are seeing it from even further point of view, then it would be even a minute. I mean, you see the Earth revolving like so fast, okay, as if it is mixer grinder's machine, okay, or motor. That fast it is revolving. So that time doesn't have any value. If you consider the infinite time, okay, infinite space, from that point of view, there is no value of time. It is as simple as that. Because everything is like there in the present moment, it is instantaneous. So this theory is saying that there is no point, there is no question of time and space. 8 days of his death, okay, are not necessarily your 8 days because you are in different universes. There are a lot of difference. So this is where you are 60, and that is why now you see your husband's next age. He would also be some years. So they again decide to go to the next birth of Padma. That is, he has taken a birth of Vidurath. They go and see what is happening there. So there is a warlike situation, and the war was going to break out between Vidurath and his neighbor. So they watch what is happening, and there is a lot of narration who were watching what and etc etc. But when actually Saraswati and Leela decide to speak to the next life husband, his name was Vidurath. Okay, so that next life husband, when they appear in front of you and say, "Oh, please tell me, who are you? What is, where are you from, etc." So that husband, he doesn't recognize both of them. He says there are some two divine ladies that have appeared in front of him. He says, "See, I was born to so and so, and then my father left the kingdom, and he handed over to me. I'm coming from this lineage, etc., etc." At that time, his age was 16 years. Then Goddess Saraswati blesses him, and then he realizes, "Oh, I am Padma in the previous birth, and this is my wife, and this is Goddess Saraswati, etc." Now the question comes, and this is a tricky question: whatever is our age, is that real? Is it a possibility that, say, for example, myself, while giving this lecture, I died. Okay, instantly I created another universe where I see the same faces because Padma was seeing the same ministers there. The Vidura, the next life was seeing same ministers, same situation, right? So I have created same faces, same world for me, and I'm continuing. Whereas my in the previous universe, my body is dead and it is gone. So my other relatives, etc., they are performing the last rites. But in my own dream or in my own world, I have created new thing and I'm delivering a lecture. And if somebody asks me, I will have my own version. And that impression is so strong. I need not necessarily tell that my brother was Vivek or something because I have created a new universe. So every new relation will be different. And in that relation, I can tell that this is my world. And I'm so sure about it. Possible. There is a very beautiful video, if possible, I'll share somewhere. That video is talking, they talk about the time machine. So I'm not sure if you have seen that. A guy is he thinks he has developed a time machine. He walks into some university and a beautiful lady is sitting on a bench. He goes and tries to impress her. So he goes and talks to her, and she is not impressed. Immediately, he presses the time button. He goes back to the previous minute, and again reorganizes himself, and again goes and talk to her. So he does this 3 4 times, and even after doing 3 4 times, that lady doesn't get impressed. Next time when he does, and when he's about to press the time machine, that lady stops him. Okay, she says, "What are you doing? You think you have a time machine and you can go back in time? You are not going back in time. You are just creating a different universe." And she shows that, see, last 4 times you pressed this button. Every time you press the button, you and I both were dead. Okay, and you created a different universe. You see me there, and you are starting from that age. Like if you are an age of 21, you are starting immediately at the age of 21. So if you think, or if I think that I am born to somebody and somebody and somebody, and then I have come to this life, that every moment before this moment can be a dream. It may be false. Yoga Vasishtha really, really shatters all our concepts. True or no? Now tell me, if I am telling you that every past can be a dream, will there be a reason for fight if we really think? Because most of the couples fight based on what has happened in the past, right? So if there is a fight that breaks out in future, you can comfortably say, see, as per Yoga Vasishtha, it is a dream. It never happened. It take that chance. No? Why to leave that? You blame on Yoga Vasishtha if at all you want to do that. Anyway, there are many concepts that have come out in this scripture. One is there are multiverses. Okay, nowadays people have started talking about multiverses. So far, we are talking about only one universe. Now, this scripture tells there are so many universes, or that is why we call them as multiverses. This is very new, but in the scripture it is very ancient. Now, one more part that comes out is you are not one. Okay, we are having many lives simultaneously, maybe. Or it is like the whole thing is dream. We never know it is created. Like we are sitting here, but somebody else who died is dreaming for us. Right? I am somebody who died somewhere, and then I started dreaming that I am having a group of people and I am giving a discourse on Yoga Vasishtha. Now, when everything is a dream, why to give so much importance to the things that happen in the dream? Right? You see a palace in the dream. That is what Govinda Dev Giri says. He's a very famous saint in India. He says, you see a dream, you see a palace, or you see a house of yourself in the dream. After coming out of the dream, do you ask for the property papers of that palace or that house that you have seen? No. So just take this in mind. Everything is a dream. Past is a dream. Future also is a dream. You never know. Why to get stuck to these things? Okay. After this, then of course the war breaks out, and the war breaks out. Then this Vidurath, he was supposed to die. So Vidurath said, "Why should I die? I am your devotee, goddess Saraswati, and you are giving me death." So she said, "Yes, the your enemy, his name is Sindhu Naresh. That enemy asked for victory. He is also my devotee. He asked me for victory, and you asked for liberation. So you'll get liberation, and he's going to get victory. Who am I to give you anything? Goddess Saraswati is nature. Okay, it's God. And this statement makes a big sense. Please understand. Please listen to it carefully. She says, "Who am I to give you anything? You ask, our duty is to say, okay, tathastu. You get what you want. That is what we give. That is the duty of all these celestial beings, Siddha, Rishi, anything. You ask, we give. So be careful while asking. Correct? He asked for liberation, you get liberation. Sindhu Naresh later he regretted. There is a story of Sindhu Naresh, his enemy. Later he regretted. He said, "How can that other king got liberated and I am still continuing?" Then his minister told him that, okay, because you asked for it. So there are few stories in Yoga Vasishtha. We may not be able to cover those, but they tell that whatever you want to achieve, and even the second chapter, the Mumuksha Vyavahar, Vasishtha told, whatever you want to achieve, you can definitely achieve it, provided you are really visualizing it, and that is the book or the documentary called Secret. The Secret, most of us we have heard of. It is that secret which is taken from Yoga Vasishtha. You want to achieve something, fully focus on that right from the heart. Don't deviate anywhere, and you will achieve that. There is nothing in this world that you cannot achieve, but you have to have that much willpower. That's all. And we have seen people achieving whatever they have been. Like even Einstein was Einstein because of his willpower. Sachin Tendulkar is Sachin Tendulkar because of his willpower. Any Ben Johnson here is Ben Johnson because of willpower. They are there, nothing else made them. It is their own efforts and willpower. So that gives nature, it is the nature's duty. You ask, you will get, provided you are honest about it, you are committed about it. There are few stories after this. One beautiful story is of uh, a demon called Karkati. So she was huge and her stomach was never getting filled up. So she decides to pray Brahma. And when the Brahma appears in front of her, she says, "See, I can't. I have such a big stomach. What do we do?" He said, "I cannot fulfill that. What I can do is I can reduce your size to a needle. Okay, because you will be a needle, you will have all the freedom. You can go in any stomach, any body. Anyway, you need what blood and flesh. So you go inside and you become that worm size and eat whatever you want. That freedom you have." So she is so happy. She said, "Wow, this is what I wanted. Anytime, anywhere, I will have the freedom to eat flesh and blood." And God also gives her a boon that if you find yourself in danger, that somebody takes medicine or so, then you can take the form of a metal needle. So you will have two forms. One is called Vishuchika. Vishuchika is the worm, and there is another form which is Loha Suchika. Suchika is sui, Loha is metal. So you will be a metal needle, so that you will be able to protect yourself. And she was given this task of going into any body and do whatever she wanted. She does for some time, and then she realizes that this is the most boring thing I have. I mean, I am alone. I have nobody. Okay, I am into the body and I am troubling these people. And I had really a huge body. I could roam around anywhere I wanted. I could see, but this is where I don't see anything. I am all the time in the blood and flesh. I don't see anything else. So then she regrets. Then she thinks probably I could have asked for something else. Okay. Now see, it was her mind. That is called the Shudra mind. Shudra is one that is filled with evil tendencies. You have Brahma in front of you, and what are you asking him? Give me a size of a needle, make me a worm, right? You could have asked for 100 better things, but then that mind was filled with evil tendencies. So that is what she asked. So she realized her mistake. Then she said, "Now who will take me to Brahma and how will I achieve it?" But she realizes her form of becoming a metal needle. So she does that, gets attached to a bird, goes to Himalaya, and again starts her prayers there. And after a lot of a long time, the Brahma again comes in front of her. Now she is thinking, what should I ask? Because there is nothing to ask now. I don't need anything. I'm happy with myself. So Brahma realizes this and he says, "Oh, Karkati, wake up. I will give you your old form, and you will continue to hunt people. You will be practicing what you were doing earlier. But there are few conditions, okay, that you have to follow. The first thing, you will not hurt those people who are religious, okay, who are practicing pranayama, etc., who are performing their nice duties. You can hurt those who don't follow the, I will say, don't follow the saints. There are certain Sanskrit words those are used, okay, and they are difficult to translate. So that's why I am saying this. Those who are duty bound. Now, what is being duty bound? So most of the scriptures they say that you should keep yourself away from the six enemies. Which are the six enemies? Six enemies are, in if I want to say them in Hindi or Sanskrit, Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Mada, Moha, Matsar. Right? The lust, then anger, that is second. Greed, then arrogance, attraction, attachment, and the jealousy. Six factors. So you should stay away from these six things. Now, what are these six things? We see them every day ourselves. Now, why was she told like this? So there are few stories later where the science of these emotions is also explained. So what I'm trying to do now is I will combine all of these things together. The science is like this. We have, let's focus on a triangle, 3 points. One point is our breath, another point is our emotions, third point is our body. Okay? Our emotions, they change the cycle of our breath. Like if you go to Miami or if you go to Key West, looking the people around, your breath will definitely start going up and down, particularly young boys or young men, or men not young, any age. Okay, that men are never old. So anyway, it will happen, isn't it? So that is the emotions. The lust is changing your breath. If you have hatred towards somebody, you see that person, you become angry, and our breath again changes. Now, if that is happening, so emotions are driving our breath. Breath is driving our body because it is also affecting our pumping. The heartbeat is changing. What is it happening? It is changing our pumping. That means our body, our health is getting affected. Out of these three things, right, we cannot really control the surroundings, we cannot control what is happening around you, we cannot really have a control within ourselves. Like I cannot increase or decrease my heart's pumping, right? That is not possible. What I can do definitely is I can control my breath. I can do the pranayama and control my breath. I can decide how slow or fast I want to do it. So that is the control we have. That is why the pranayama is so important, because all other things you cannot change, but they definitely affect us. Now, what is the role of this demon Karkati? She was told that if somebody is not following the scriptures, that means they are going in the control of all these six enemies, then you will go and trouble them. So that is what happens. If we are in the control of these six enemies, right, our breath affects, our body affects, and then we have a disease. Correct? This disease has got two forms. One is something which is within, and then we have to take medicines, etc. If those medicines are not useful, then we have to take the saline or injection. Injection has a metal needle. All right. So remember that Karkati is showing her presence always if we are not really following the scriptures. If we follow the scriptures, our emotions will not be shattered. If our emotions are not affected, our breath will be in control. Our breath remains in control, our body also will be in control. That's why I tell my close ones that if you are seeing somebody or if you are jealous of somebody and you become angry, whatever, right? You stop for a moment, make a call to the hospital, tell them, hey, please reserve a bed for me. I'll be there after 5 years, 10 years. Guaranteed. You change your emotions, you have to reserve a bed in the hospital. Now tell me, again, these are few things which are coming in the next stories, but I am want to sum up them here. This is the most nonsense thing that we do. Becoming angry, making ourselves angry because of somebody else. True? See, we don't know who we are, but we have this life. Now, husband, wife, children, they love each other, of course. But is somebody really guaranteed that the same husband you will have in next life? No. right? Or same children you will have, or same mother-in-law or daughter-in-law you will have in next life? No, we don't have. Don't guarantee. No guarantee, right? Matlab, in Marathi, if I say no matter how many Vata Savitri you do, there is no guarantee. Both of them. The second part, what is most close to us, our own breath. That is, at least that is what we know. Even husband would also be away for 8 hours at his job, but breath is continuously with us, right? Now, more than breath, what is close to us? What is even closer than the breath? That is the self, but then that is, you cannot touch it. Or you feel you are that, but there is no question of touching it. You cannot control. No? Body also is like along with the breath. Breath stops, body stops. Mind. Okay. I'll say your karma, your actions. Because actions affect your mind. So you carry the effects of your actions, your karma into the next life, not even into the next life, it is many lives. Right? God gives you only a certain portion of your karma, but our karma they are meant for all lives. So where should we focus? The most nonsense thing is we focus on the most temporary, which are people around us, situations around us, actions around us. Correct? We don't focus on them. So whenever they are creating some problem for us, the least thing that we should focus or we can focus is on our breath, right? Because that is even closer. So whenever something is happening, tell yourself, oh, this is temporary. Okay, whether it is husband, wife, child, mother-in-law, particularly, or daughter-in-law, they are temporary. I am permanent. My karma, my actions are permanent. So first, let me focus on my health. At least in this life, I will have a good body. If I become angry, call hospital. Right? Never do that. So first thing is focus on yourself, yourself, yourself. Be really, really selfish. That is what we should be. And second, then focus on your actions. You don't have to retaliate. You don't have to do something wrong. Every time our mind says that I want to do something wrong, then let him immediately make it aware. See, God has created such a system, very bad system. Okay, we do something wrong. So there is no manual, there is no book which tells if you shout at your mother-in-law, you will be treated like a dog in the next life. I'm just giving an example. If you shout at your daughter-in-law, then you will be treated like a cockroach in next life. Right? There is no manual which has written such things. So and it will not. There is no manual which tells when you are going to get the punishment, and there is no manual which tells that if you are getting this punishment, then this was your karma. Correct? So that is why most of us, and that is the biggest wonder for me, is we take the freedom discarding the scriptures. We say, let the scripture go to the um, go to the burner, okay, and I will do. Nothing happens to me. The biggest wonder is I will not be shaken. Nothing will happen to me. That is the biggest wonder. Whereas we see all around us, we see people in the hospital, we see people suffering, we see people getting into poverty. All these things we see around, but we never question why they are there. We still try to get into such actions and we say, okay, nothing will happen to me. I will do this. Let me show him who am I. Arey, you don't show him. You will see yourself in the hospital. Why I want to show somebody that? Don't do that, please. Okay, focus again on your eternal nature. You are eternal, everything is temporary. So these are the least one to be focused. The best you can focus is on your breath, even better on your own self. Tell yourself, I am permanent, he is temporary. Fine. So when husband is shouting at you, he is temporary, I am permanent. When wife is shouting at you, again she is temporary, I am permanent. Just practice it for a week. I am going on 13th. So after 13th, you can definitely practice. If you have any problem, you can call me. At least you can't come and catch my throat. You know. Understand this, and this is the biggest lesson from Yoga Vasishtha. Understand your eternal nature, and then drop all these attachments. That brings me to a point which is related to death. In this same Leela Saraswati chapter, and we are still in the third chapter of Yoga Vasishtha, there are a lot of stories to be covered, but I will try to cover the most important points: the death and suicide. Okay, I will try to cover 5 minutes for this. Death is inevitable. It is going to happen. Our relatives of any age may die. They may be children, they may be youngsters, they may be seniors, okay, of our age, youth, anything. How do we see the death? The first thing that we see is uh, we get into the grief, we get into the sorrow that somebody close to me has died. Now, is it really that bad? What we have to see is from the person who died. From his point of view, we should see. See, if it is like a senior person, if it is a really grieving body, suffering body, then it makes sense to let that body go and take a new body, if at all there is a new birth. If there is no new birth, then also it makes sense to let it go. Because what is the point in carrying the same thing, right? You are not able to live. You are creating a problem for others. You are creating a problem for yourself. So there is no point in living such a body, continuing with such a body. If any other age, youngsters or somebody dies, again, it is his life. Remember, we become sorrowful, we become into grief because we thought that there is something wrong happened to that person. It's not something wrong happened to that person, it was his destiny. He is taking a new birth, he is continuing something else. So, why it happens? So, there are many reasons given. One is associated with the karma, but the question that comes is if somebody is really having karma, then he will not typically die early. Okay, that's what we see. That question comes, oh, he was such a great person, he was following all religious practices, and at young age he died. And whereas we see somebody who is evil, who is doing all bad things, and he's still continuing his life because they have to suffer. This person, probably in this life, okay, is not able to get what he deserves. He probably deserves a better thing. And then he has to discontinue and get into next thing. Right? It is like moving from economic class to business class. Correct? So it may happen. What is all these explanations for? They tell you to console yourself, okay? Because by grieving, by being in sorrow state, you are not going to get back that person. On the other hand, if at all there any relation exists, what we are doing is we are pulling that person back. Correct? He's not going to come to us, but we are unnecessarily binding him to be here. So let's tell the what best thing that we can tell that person is happy journey, bon voyage. Let your path, let your journey be peaceful, let you be happy in your life. That is what we can tell him. That's the best thing we can. Nothing else can bring him back. Nothing else can give us any help. So always see the death from this perspective. It is good for that person. That is what you can tell yourself. If you tell it is bad for him, again you are going to get into sorrow. See, sorrow is also or regret is also an emotion which is going to affect us. Any negative emotion, it will create bad karma for us. Because if you are in sorrow and those who are alive, they come to us, we won't treat them properly, creating a karma. Okay. So always remember there is no point in having regret, any negative emotions. Always try to be positive. Tell yourself whatever has happened, we term them as right or wrong. Okay, it is our terminology. It's not necessarily absolutely right or wrong. It is subjective. Something is good, something is bad, is all subjective. For that person, it may be really good who has gone. It may be a child, it may be a young boy, it may be an elderly person, anything. For him, it may be good, but we are terming it as wrong. So it is subjective. So everything see positively. That is one of the messages that we get from yoga system. I will have a more. I mean, there are quite good stories. The third chapter, this is third chapter. We talked about creation, okay, which is called Utpatti. The fourth chapter is sthiti. Sthiti is like why this world sustains. Understood that it is all dream, but why the dream should remain there forever? We feel right the dream is continuing year after year, year after year, and then so many lives it is continuing. We don't know how many lives we had. When Leela was shown by Saraswati her previous lives, she saw she had how many lives? 800. 800 lives she had lived and various kind of lives. It's not necessary she was a human always. She was once a deer, she was once maybe an elephant, so many things. So if we know this knowledge, if we are into this, that we have been through so many lives, what are the most common things across animals and human beings? They eat, we eat, they drink, we drink, right? They sleep, we sleep, they have sex, we have sex, they produce people, they produce the next generation, we produce the next generation, right? All these things are common. We have intellect to at least think what we are. We have the intellect to read Yoga Vasishtha, to read Bhagavad Gita, to read Bible or any other scripture. We have that intellect. We can think. They don't have. We have the ability to change our future. They don't have. If they are supposed, if once they are decided that they will be born as a cockroach and next birth will be of an elephant, they will have to go through that. They can't change. But once we are human beings, we can decide what we will be. Maybe while we are born here and our destiny was decided that we will be next birth will be cockroach. In this life, we have the freedom to change that. You can get liberated in this life itself. That is the power we have as human beings. That is a basic difference. Now focus on that thing instead of just being living like a worm that we had done already. Right? Think how can we be really, really good human beings? That is what we want to focus on. Every time we are attracted towards the worldly pleasures, material pleasures, tell ourselves, oh, this, I had it 800 times, 800 lives I have enjoyed it. Anything it may be. It may be food, it may be lust, it may be anything. Tell yourself, oh, this is what I have enjoyed. That is what is going to drop the desires. There is a point, there was this discussion, right? Desires, freedom from desires. So, how do you get the freedom from desires? Tell yourself, these all desires I had. Many lives I have been going through the same desires again and again and again, and this time also I want to have the same thing. What nonsense, isn't it? And there is no point in going through it. They are never going to give you the satisfaction. So drop them. That's what we should learn. Then city prakaran, city chapter. How does this world sustains, how this creation sustains? Okay, there are a few stories, but in short, if I want to tell you, it is because of our mind. Our mind gets entangled into the scene that we have, that we see, and we see, oh, this is really permanent. Now there is where Vasishtha Rishi tells this beautiful point. Ram asks, why do we see it as real? Why do I feel that this is real? When even after telling by so many scriptures, okay, even after so many sages, they say that this is unreal, this is hallucination, this is Brahm. Why do we still believe in it? So that is because that our mind it has got these impressions years after years or lives after lives that we see that this is real. Now, how do we break it? We have to hammer it with the opposite values. What are the opposite values? Tell it every day regularly that this is unreal, this is unreal, this is dream. What does it mean? It means that if this is a wall of illusion, okay, and I try for 5 years, I try for 10 years, telling myself this is illusion, this all is illusion, this all is dream. And after 10 years, I again come back and say, oh, I tried, but I still feel that this is real because we haven't hammered it enough number of times. You have to believe in this thing. When a man comes and starts hammering on this wall, he knows the first hammer he hits, wall is not going to break. It's not going to shatter at all. But he knows after 100 hammers, okay, that is going to shatter, that is going to break. So we have to tell, there is no choice. We have to tell ourselves regularly, frequently, every day that this is an illusion. How do we do that? By reading such scriptures or by following the guru, whatever guru you have. Read or listen to him every day. His discourses will tell you again and again that this is an illusion, leave this, ignore the lie, ignore the things around you, focus on yourself. If you start listening to this every day, there will be a situation, I can guarantee you that, where you will really start feeling in any time of turbulence, okay, this is temporary, I am permanent, and this is all illusion. Okay, I am not today the 800th person probably in lives who started dreaming and then he became in that dream. He became a man, he became a woman, he became a cockroach, he became elephant, lion, etc., etc. So many things. And the last person who was seeing it, he's seeing me. So I'm not what I am. I'm not this body. I'm somebody else. So this body, which is a dream, what I'm seeing is a dream. I don't have to give any importance to anything. But this has to be hammered on our head every day. Okay. Otherwise, these 2 hours or 3 hours of session, and then we go home, and next morning again you want tea, and if it is not given, the same fight continues. Understand? Drop everything. Okay. So the next chapter after this, the fifth chapter is called Upasham. Upasham is silencing all desires, understanding the realities of this life. There are real good meditations. And the sixth chapter is having a beautiful discussion between Vasishtha and there is a crow. Okay, the crow's name is Bhushunda. If you see one of the Purans, okay, is Bhushunda Puran also, if you have heard of it. Very nice one. So we will have in Bhushunda, Bhushunda chapter with Crow Bhushunda, that is Kaka Bhushunda and Vasishtha. There was a beautiful discussion on the pranayam. Okay, so we'll perform some pranayam. I will also tell about what that is. And after that, that is the Nirvan chapter, the sixth one. And then there are some beautiful stories. So if time permits, we will cover those stories as well. I wouldn't mind even while you are having dinner, you sit and I can narrate those stories. But let me finish the core of it, the important knowledge, and let me finish the pranayam and meditation. We'll have that, and then we'll get into the stories as well. So Bhushunda's speciality, like we know, there is a kalpa, the way this world exists in Hindu mythology or Hindu system. There are four yuga. Okay, yuga is like we have the Satya Yuga, then there is a Treta Yuga. So that is yuga is a certain number of years. Okay, so there was a situation where Harishchandra came, there was a situation when there was a time when Ram came, then Krishna came, and then this current situation, current yuga or current time is Kali Yuga. So each of them they are supposed to be born once. Once these four yugs they are over, then again next cycle starts. Again Harishchandra, again Ram, again Krishna, etc. That is born. So this comes, and then when the entire cycle ends, then this universe it ends, and again new things start coming. So this crow he existed. It is like permanent for time long. Okay, once he was born, he never dies. So Vasishtha asked him his question: what is the secret that you are still young, you are still charming, and you still existed? When everybody of us, like myself, Vasishtha, I died, Ram died, everybody died, but you never died, you still exist. The entire universe is gone. Not only one universe, there are universes after universes, they are gone, but you are still there. What is the secret? That secret he narrates as pranayam. So, what makes that pranayam so effective? You would have learned a lot of pranayams, but what we are going to see today, you will really appreciate that this is very effective, very promising, and very useful ones. So, along with the pranayam, we'll also have the meditation. So, what meditations? The fifth chapter I told, Upasham. In that, King Janak, King Bali, King Prahlad, okay, and various sages, they had various kind of enlightenments, various kind of situations, and they had their stories. They thought they had contemplated a lot on various aspects of life. So I'll try to combine those into one meditation. Okay, their thoughts, by what they thought, and we'll then proceed. Let's close our eyes, sit comfortably. If possible, move a little forward on your chair if your back can manage that, without taking any support for the back. You may slouch, but don't take a support. Your You may bend a bit if you want, you may be relaxed, but as far as possible, don't take any support for your back. Keep the eyes closed. Again, be with yourself. Just remember, anything and everything can be an obstacle in your goal to yourself. Keep the eyes closed. And now just observe your breath. Don't try to control the breath, just see how it is. Just watch the speed of the breath, the depth of the breath, how deep it is in and out. What is the speed? Just watch it. Our breath is our best friend. Everybody in life may come and go. The breath will stay with us. In every situation, whether it is happy or unhappy, invite your best friend to be with you. This breath is so honest, so humble. You have to just watch it, and that breath will be with you. Just watch, no need to control. It will automatically become steady. Now, this breath is coming in, going out. In between, it stops. This comes in, stops for some time, goes out, again stops for some time, again comes in. See the point where incoming breath is dissolving within the body. It may be somewhere in the heart region. Just imagine a bright point where the incoming breath comes and dissolves. Your palms should be facing the ceiling. If possible, keep the neck straight. Whatever happens to the body, let it happen. Pray to your Guru, your God, to be with you in this time. Observe the breath, how it is coming inside the body and where it gets dissolved. Similarly, the breath goes out approximately at the same point outside the body. The outgoing breath gets dissolved. Just focus on this wonder. There is a breath that goes in, it dissolves. There is something else that starts coming out. On the outside, it gets dissolved. Again, a new breath comes in. Water is the speed, just observe it on your own. When the breath comes in, it gets dissolved. For some time, there is no breath, but we still exist, even without breath for some time. And the breath starts going out. For some time, again, there is no breath. We still exist. A new breath comes in. Incoming breath is like the moon, gives a cooling effect like a moon to the body. Outgoing effect gives an effect of sun. This cycle of sun and moon, it's continuing. This is what is defining our life. The cycle of moon and sun, they define our day. If we elongate it through pranayam, our day becomes longer. Thus, our life also becomes longer. Now, when you breathe in, focus on the point where breath merges and there is no breath. Don't hold for a long time, hold momentarily, but see what is happening in that time. When the incoming breath has dissolved and there is no outgoing breath yet, that time, that space, see what is happening. Don't hold for a long time, breathe out. Similarly, when you breathe out, there is a pause. Observe that pause. See what is happening. We are that emptiness. There is nothing, no thoughts, no emotions. Let us contemplate on ourselves. When I say I, who am I? Who's that I? Is it body? If yes, where in the body? Is it at a particular point? Is it in the chest, brain, stomach? Or is it across the body? If it is in the entire body, and if I cut a part of the body, will both remain alive? If I'm in the body, can I create two I by cutting the body? No. Then I'm not in the body or I'm not the I. The body is not the I. Am I breath? I just saw when I breathe out and when there is no breath, still I am. Am I the mind? While observing breath, there was no mind. Then who am I? Using similar logic, I'm not the intellect. I am not the memory. As Shankaracharya had said, Mano buddhyahankar चित्तानि नाहं न च श्रोत्रजिह्वे न च घ्राणनेत्रे न च व्योमभूमिर्न तेजो न वायु चिदानन्दरूप शिवोऽहं 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 शिवोऽहम् I am that. I am that consciousness. I am that Brahman. I am the Supreme. I am beyond all fears, all emotions. I am everything. I am nothing. I do everything. I do nothing. Just be with yourself. Everything otherwise is temporary. Thoughts temporary. Emotions temporary. I am the eternal one. Timeless, spaceless. Whatever happens, let it happen. Just be with yourself. ॐ गुरवे नमः ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः Become aware of your breath. Take a deep breath in and let it go. Become aware of your body. Move your body parts. Become around aware of the surroundings. Again, take a deep breath in and let it go. And slowly, gradually, you may open your eyes. So, we meditated for around 15 minutes. Okay, just try to sit for 15 minutes. We'll see what 15 minutes are. But just focusing on the breath, you can spend any time, any amount of time with yourself. We are really, really beautiful. You don't have to look at other things, just be with yourself. So, this crow, Kakabhushunda, Kakabhushunda, he was a crow and born out of some weird situation. But when Vasishtha asked him what is the secret, so he said, Vasishtha, people like you, they can absorb all kinds of knowledge. Okay, they can live with the knowledge. But people like me who are lower in the uh, lower in the levels of knowledge and existence, we want to have something else. So we focus on prana. Prana is my. It is not breath. Prana is different. Breath is different. So that is we focus on the energy. He said we focus on the energy level. Now, how do we manage the energy part? So then he narrated what is energy. So energy is actually pran in scriptures, and that is controlled through breath. So when we came into existence, okay, we told ourselves that my pran will be my breath. That is why there is a very common understanding or misunderstanding that pran is exactly as breath. Now, how do we control? So there are five types of pran that exist in our body, and there are three nadis. Nadi, as in, I will say, they are not necessarily veins or arteries, okay, but they're even subtler than that. So one is Ida, which is on the left side, another is Pingla on the right side, and there is one which is called Sushumna at the center. And around that, at the base of the Sushumna, or at the base of these three nadis, there is something called Kundalini, right, which we have heard of it. That Kundalini is called as Kundalini because in Sanskrit, Kundali is it is like a circular shape. It is like a snake, okay, who is sitting forming the circle. And I'm not sure how many of you experienced this today. When we were meditating, like initially we were sitting like this, but slowly we would have probably felt an erection in the spine and we would have become straight. So that is, it's not totally awakening of the Kundali, but it is the beginning of it. Okay, so it happens if you practice consistently. Slowly, you will start realizing that our spine gets erect. It is acting against the gravity. So why it is? Because there is something that is acting on the Kundalini. This Kundalini is responsible for all our actions, all our behavior. And how do we groom that? So that Kundalini is at the base of the Sushumna, and there are these two nadis, Ida and Pingala. So the way it is said, some people believe that it is Ida is straight and Pingala is straight. Some yoga philosophies say that they are crisscross. So they go around the sushumna, around the spine, and the other nadi goes from left to right. Okay, they come into our hypothalamus here at the brain, and from there they descend into our nostrils. So that is where the pranayam, the control of these two nadis, okay, that is done through Ida and Pingla, which is ending at our nose, where they open up. And that is how when we take the breath, breath in and out, there is where we are actually activating through pranayam, through control breathing, our sushumna. So that is one part of it where it actually acts on our subtle structure, on our energy. The second theory that is also important about pranayam is I mentioned about five types of prana, five types of energies. So they are called pran, apan, udan, van, and saman. The most important out of these two are pran and apan. So as we saw, the breath goes out and breath comes in. Now, when that opposite direction movement is happening, okay, at the center of our chest or in this region, there is a friction between the prana and apana. Now, this friction, any friction causes fire. Okay, so this friction also triggers some fire. That fire is the digestive fire. Okay, so that fire is responsible for digestion. So, digestion of food that we take is just the first step. Okay, which is called, it forms the anna ras. Whatever we take, the juices that are formed, it is creating the juices and helping the digestion. After that, there are seven dhatu that we talk about in Ayurveda. Okay, rasa, rakta, mons, med, asthi, that is bone, then spine, and sperm, virya. Initially, juice that we form, then blood, then flesh. How you please start taking, the food is ready. Please get into the queue and start taking. Okay, we have to respect the time. I will continue. But please have it in silence. As if there is a total silence going on. If you want to act, you can ask through actions. Just say that if you can manage it. Okay. So if this fire is proper, then the digestion happens properly. The digestion happens properly, then all the rest of the dhatus, rest of the things like our spine, our bones, fat, skin, etc., they are formed well. And if the fire is not proper, digestion is improper, that means the entire system is, it goes for a toss. Now, how do we make that fire proper? It is through right breathing. How do you control the breath properly? We manage the breath through our emotions. Either you do it forcefully, like breathe in, breathe out, or just observe your breath, it automatically gets controlled. And along with that, but you can't keep on doing the breathing and controlling all the time, right? So that is how train our brain, train our emotions, okay, to not get distracted by those six enemies. Which are those six enemies? That is lust, anger, greed, right, jealousy, arrogance, and attachment. So see if you can manage those, then naturally your breath will be in control. If your breath is in control, your digestion and all rest of the things will be in control. That is why a sound body has sound mind, but definitely a sound mind has a sound body. Keep mind sound, the body will automatically remain healthy. That is the that is the secret of healthy living. Okay, that is all was narrated by Kaka. Then Vasishtha tells a very beautiful story of a couple. So these are the secrets of the stories I have already narrated to you. There was one more story which I missed, but maybe some other time. I think I would actually request you to form the group and start reading Yoga Vasishtha in groups. You can have some book online or offline, whatever. But you can buy those books and we can decide to read together. And then have some discourses occasionally. Even from India, I can join anytime. I am already doing it for the folks in California. It's really hard time for me because their timing is 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So that means 4:30 a.m. for me. I have to wake up at 3:30. Fortunately, it is only once in a month, last Tuesday of the month. So it's manageable once in a while. But we also can come together and we can discuss. Okay, it will be a beautiful journey. Trust me. In India, when I did that, there are many folks, at least in Marathi, they are reading two times a day. There is one group which meets at 2 o'clock, another group which meets at 8 o'clock in the evening. But they have done multiple iterations of this book. This book was read 4 or 5 times, and they are every time they bring in new people, and the count is increasing. And this book is so crazy. Once you read, then you don't feel like reading any other book. I'm sure the knowledge that we received today was really felt something, right? It was totally different. It was like direct, straight, and kind of helps to transform. So similar thing you can experience by reading those books. So a story of husband and wife. Typically, in most of the cultures, wives are looked down, right? People don't really feel, husbands don't feel that wives know a lot or so. So this is a contrary story. Chudala and Shikhidwaj, again king and queen, they were both very so beautiful couple. They were having a lot of enjoyment in life, king and queen. And once they came together, they said, "See, this life will go on, but then someday we are going to get old, and we have to see how we can stay together." So they call all the pandits and ask them um, if we can live forever. So everybody said you can elongate your life, you can stretch it, but you cannot live forever. The death is inevitable, so that is going to happen. Then this queen Chudala, she started contemplating. She started reading the scriptures. King Shikhidhwaj, he kind of got lost into his daily activities, and he did not have a lot of time to go through the scriptures and all. So someday, this Queen Chudala, she got enlightened. She started shining, her face started shining, and she was staying with herself. She was practicing meditation regularly. She was reading the scriptures. She was fully into knowledge. Then her husband said one day that, "How come you are so beautiful? How come your youth has come back? What are you doing? Are you doing some magic or so?" Then she narrated a very nice song. That song sounded like this, that I am with the one which is not seen, and I am not with the one which is seen. Okay, so I am one with the things that don't give me enjoyment, and I enjoy those, and I don't enjoy those which gives enjoyment. So after hearing to her, Shikhidwaja, her husband said, "What are you blabbering? What is this? You are with the one that you don't see, and you are not with the one that you see. This is something not cognizable. I can't understand it." So then he said, "Okay, you join me. I'm what I'm doing. You please follow me." He said, "No, no, this is something nonsense. I can't do that." And after some time, Shikit was also, because he was educated on the scriptures initially, he said he felt that I should also do something because he got dispassionate about the ruling and all. That time he said, "Let me go to the jungle, let me go to the forest and be there for some time." His wife said, "This is not the age. You are still young. You stay here. You perform all your duties." He said, "No, no, no. I have decided, and once I have decided, I will do it." So one night, one fine night, he leaves his kingdom and then goes to the forest. His wife, she realizes that her husband has left them. So she goes and sees where he's going and what is he doing. And she realizes that he is now going to the forest. So she thinks, okay, let me go and still educate. But then immediately the second thought comes that if I go today, whatever his emotions are, he will still not listen to me. So there is no point. So let him do what he wants. Later, maybe I will go and talk to him. So that continues. After some years, she again goes and tries to see what he is doing. This, what she observes that he is in a forest performing all austerities, and he has become very weak and is looking very, very old. So that surprises her. She says, "How can he be? Earlier he was looking so young, and now see his situation. It's such a painful to see such a young and warrior like king, and now he is totally weak, looking old. So she thinks, let me go and talk to him. But that thought again comes to her that if I go in my this attire as a queen, he would again not listen to me because that impression is clear. Wives don't know anything, right? Men are smart, wives are dumb. That is what men think. Reality is totally different. But so she decides that she has to go in front of him in a different attire. So what she does is she changes her form. She takes the form of a small young boy, okay, and then as if she descends there in front of him from the sky. And her feet, they are not touching the ground. She is still kind of traveling 2 feet above the ground in the air. So he sees her and says, "So who are you? What are you doing here?" Then that says, "I'm so and so. My name is Kumbha." Okay, Kumbha is like a pot, the soil pot. Okay, I'm Kumbha, and I'm son of Narada. So King asks, how come son of Narada? Narada is a celibate, he is brahmachari, he never married. So how can you be son of his? So she narrates some story. If time permits, we'll come to that. But she manages some story and says that I am his son. Then Kumbha asks him, the king Shikhadwaja, that you are here, what are you doing? The Shikhadwaja says, I had a kingdom and I was doing staying there, etc. etc. I left my wife, I left my kingdom. I have left everything. And now I am here looking for solace. I'm looking for freedom. Kumbha says, you said you have left everything, but you haven't left everything. The king says, no, no, I left my wife, I left my palace. I don't have anything. What do you think I have? Do you think that this hut is mine? I am counting on this hut. I will burn this hut. So the king goes and sets the hut on fire, and Kumbha is watching him. Kumbha is that Chudala, his wife, in a different form. So that Kumbha keeps on watching him. He says, okay, but still you haven't left, quit everything. You are still trying to own something. Then the king says, what am I owning? What am I having? You say, I'm having my clothes and all this small pot, etc. I will also burn them. So he sets everything on fire. Now he says, I don't have. I have only one undergarment, that's all, which is out of shame. I have to keep it. But otherwise, I have abandoned, I have disowned everything. That time Kumbha again says, no, you are still not disowning everything. You still are holding on something. Then king thinks, what is that? Says, now this is the body that I am holding on. So I will have to dump this body. That's all I can do. So I will go and jump in the valley and make this body go. So that time Kumbha says, body is also not your own. Anyway, it was going to go, right? And when you came, you did not bring the body along with you. You took a form in this body. So it's not your body. So why are you unnecessarily harming that body? You are not going to achieve anything. Then he says, okay, now tell me what is that that I am not owning. So there he tells two stories. Okay, so stories within stories. He tells two stories to the king. The Kumbha narrates two stories. Kumbha says the first story is of an elephant. There was a very strong elephant wandering in the forest freely. Okay, no worries, nothing. And one day, one Mahout, he sees this forest and this elephant and wants to capture. So that Mahout, what he does is he lays a small trap, and as soon as this elephant is caught, he ties the elephant with strong strings, okay, and then he sits on the tree. When the elephant wakes up, he sees he is bound by all those strings. So for that elephant, it is not difficult to break those. And he breaks them easily and then stands up. So after the elephant stands up, this Mahout, he becomes angry. He says, now I will anyway control him. Okay. So from the tree, he jumps onto his head so that he can control. But somehow his aim goes wrong and he falls down in front of the elephant. No, elephant sees him. He knows that this is my enemy, I should crush him. But even animals also have some compassion. Out of compassion, the elephant leaves him aside, doesn't kill him. Insulted, angry, Maho decides to go and capture the elephant again. So next time he lays a bigger trap and then they capture the elephant. After this elephant is captured, he was tortured for a long time and then later he was trained with pet elephants. And then this elephant was he started carrying the woods and wooden blocks, etc. Became an ordinary elephant. The The Kumbha, he says to Shikhidwaja, the king, that see, an elephant who was so strong once upon a time, now he is tamed just because he did not control his enemies. You also, as a king, you had this opportunity. When you decided to quit everything, you could have also quit your attachments, you could have also quit your bondings, emotions that time, but you did not. You still remain stuck to your thought that by going to the forest, I will achieve freedom, which is wrong. For achieving freedom, you don't have to go to the forest. You have to drop your desires. You are still having desires to achieve the freedom. That desire of freedom also is a bondage for you. So drop that. That is one. Second story he narrated that um, that of a ruby, the wish fulfilling ruby. In Sanskrit, it is called Chintamani. So there was a guy who was looking for that businessman. He started meditating, and a ruby appeared in front of him. But so suddenly it appeared and so shortly it appeared that businessman thought, no, it cannot come so quick. Okay, it has to come after a lot of penance and then I will get it. So he discarded, he ignored. And then that Ruby, that Chintamani said, he's insulting me, I'm in front of him and he's not grabbing me. The Chintamani went away. Then the other Siddhas, other people, out of making fun of him, they brought some glass piece in front of him, depicting it as a Chintamani, as a wish fulfilling ruby. And he opened his eyes after some time and he saw, oh, this is the real one. So he grabbed that and then based on that he sold everything and then he wanted to get his all wishes fulfilled. But that glass piece couldn't do anything. So the Kumbha said, this is your situation. That whatever you thought, this will be your wife was telling you that you be really knowledgeable by looking at real knowledge. Instead of that, you discarded that and you started focusing on such procedures in the forest which are not going to give you anything. So that is the same mistake that you are doing. It is like that businessman. So after hearing to her and then contemplating, the king became enlightened. That is where this is one of the stories where wife really strived hard. There are a lot of stories in that. A wife really strived hard to make husband enlightened. Then there are quite a few stories, but Yoga Vasishtha ends with this note where Sri Ram he feels enlightened. He had kind of he loses all his energy, all tears start flowing, and then he goes into silence. So Vishwamitra says to Vasishtha that if Ram continues to be in this state, then he is going to miss his duties. He is here not to meditate. He is here to kill the Ravan, to free people, to impart knowledge. So please awaken him. That time Vasishtha makes a very beautiful point. Vasishtha says, "O Ram, for the enlightened ones, it doesn't make sense to sit idle. It's your duty. You are born as a king. It's your duty to take the knowledge to others. It's your duty to bring solace and happiness to the people. It doesn't. It is not good for saints or people like you to sit idle. That is a message for us. We have all the privileges. We have all the things in life. Okay, are we just idle? We are happy. We are content, or we strive really for imparting knowledge, bringing solace, bringing happiness to others? Are we into some kind of service? If not, think and you can get into service. Anything that you want. You can do physically, monetarily, anything. Even you meditate daily, that also is a service. Remember this, because that also brings in positive effects. There is a lot of research that was particularly done in Washington. People meditated for some days and the crime rate came by 23%. It came down by 23%. That is a scientific research you can search on the internet. So that also is a service. Okay, it creates the positivity. And meditation, you can search for any gurus online and you can see their meditation. Guided meditations also you can do. You can learn meditations. If you want, I can point you to some people who are good teachers. They can teach you. Choice is yours. That is all. Finally, when this discourse is over by Vasishtha, then all saints, all Siddha, they came and they said, this is the thing that we were looking for. We have roamed across multiverses. Okay, but such a knowledge was never given, and this is something that we were striving for. They felt so grateful to Vasishtha and for Ram. Ram, though he enacted as a ignorant one, but we know he probably acted for us because of him we got all this knowledge. Otherwise, that knowledge would have stayed with Vasishtha only. So these are his tricks to get the knowledge from Vasishtha and share it with us. Finally, there a lot of celebration broke out, and in this book also it is mentioned that after you listen to Yoga Vasishtha, you should celebrate it. So I will urge you to. We are already celebrating when it is ending for today. The session is ending for today. But do come in groups, read it. The benefits of reading Yoga Vasishtha are more than Rajasuya Yajna or Ashwamedh Yajna. Okay, they are really mentioned in the book and they're really, really great. So don't miss that. Finally, one more request I would have is when we get the knowledge anywhere, any from any person, anywhere, as far as possible, we should also we do celebration, but we should also do some charity. Charity is your choice. You want to do anywhere at your home, any place. You do any institution of your choice. You do. I work for tribal school children as Nitin introduced. So if you want to donate, you can donate there. Unfortunately, they don't accept foreign donations. They don't have that possibility. You can donate in cash or then you donate anywhere if you are comfortable of your choice. Okay, so please do that. Even $1 donation is good. Then later is your choice how much you want to, but do that. Okay, and there is where this ends.